Yet there's a huge rub, a big wrinkle in the story, which is the Shiite and Kurdish uprising that took place about 6 weeks later after the end of the war. Bush Sr. personally, in a radio message over Voice of America, and the Air Force dropped leaflets over the Shiite army divisions in the south of the country, which America occupied the entire south of Iraq in the aftermath of the war. And they encouraged all of these Shiites to rise up and overthrow Saddam Hussein. And they did. They took him up on it. People in your audience, I know you're not a big electronic media guy, but people in your audience may have seen the movie Three Kings with Ice Cube and Marky Mark and George Clooney. And in that movie, the setting, it's a gold heist movie, but the setting is they're occupying southern Iraq in the aftermath of the war, and all around them, the Iraqi army is putting down the Shiite insurrection, crushing the insurrection and killing all these poor people and driving the refugees into Iran. So that's kind of a touchstone for people. If that's probably the best way they would ever remember that such a thing ever happened, is that movie popularized it a little bit. But so what happened was they were on their way to Baghdad, but George Bush and his National Security Advisor, Brent Scowcroft, Secretary of State Baker, Secretary of Defense Cheney, they changed their mind. And they left the Shiites high and dry, and they let Saddam Hussein keep his helicopters and tanks to crush the revolution. Why? It was because, remember when I said, when the Iranian Revolution happened, some of these Iraqi Shiites went to Iran and sided with the Iranians and wanted to import the revolution into Iraq. And that was why Saddam conscripted them all to fight the war, right? Because that was what he was afraid of. Well, they started coming back across the border from Iran, namely the Badr Brigade, which was the armed militia of the Supreme Council for Islamic Revolution in Iraq, which was a group of Iraqis tied very closely to the Dawa Party who were supported by Iran and had been living in Iran for the last 10 years. And had fought on Iran's side in the Iran-Iraq war. Now they're coming across the border to lead the revolution.